with the ebb and flow of it all and the lead changing hands so many times, there was no real time to kind of just conserve any energy out there. It was just a blitz from start to finish. And we'll come up with the Aiken in first, Strasser second, Flaherty third, Smigo fourth, followed by Sherry, Mitchell, Hockenberry in seventh, Nichols in eighth for your top eight. Bowman was ninth, Nawn 10th, and Misdale 11th. Heinzelman finishes rounding out the top dozen. And now, here we go with the big schools, ready to take on these 8 laps.
Well, the story in this one is the absence of Gary Martin. Last year's winner and running an 8:54.87. He took Weber along with him under 9 minutes last year as well. Weber's in this race. He's the second seed, but C.J. Singleton, we saw him in the mile against Martin running very well. He is the top seed coming into this one, both in low nines, which is pretty amazing. 9:05.81, 9:06.63. And then Ryan Pajak in third seed, 9:09, and also Matthew O'Brien, 9:09. So got a lot of top runners in this race. Without Martin in, you don't see the big move to the front of the pack.
And apologies to folks listening to our show open today. Nobody's more surprised at Gary Martin's absence than me. He was the leader coming into this week of championships in this event statewide. He had a personal best 8:41.57 back on May 6th at the Hoka Bryn Mawr Westchester Henderson meet. And, man, he looked primed to defend his title here. But the thing is, last year when he won it, he set the state record. So what more is there to accomplish, I'm guessing that he's thinking. And interestingly enough, he's now going for the 800, we understand, along with his championship earlier in these championships with the 1600. But listen to this. He's having a fun senior year. He has raced at 9 different distances this year, from 2 miles all the way down to 200 meters, indoors and out, and setting personal bests everywhere he goes. 200 meters, a 24:35. A 400 meter, 51:13. 800 meters, he's in at 1:49.68. And in a 2 miles, a 9:04.65. We'll save the rest for when he's out there in the 800.
Well, your early leader here is Jacob Hess out of Lewisburg. Jacob was third in the AA cross-country championships behind Martin and Long, and so certainly capable of running this race. 9:23 was the seat time coming in, and again, the pack's still intact as we come up on the half-mile mark here. And then right behind him is C.J. Singleton on 1 and 2 there.
Let's take a look at this split time. The clock's showing 2:15, and looks like they'll cross at 2:18 and change.
So, again, taking it out where they needed to be, and it's just, again, sort of like our last race. No one wants to shoot out there and take a big lead. They're all just sitting tight, running their races. And it's almost like a single file line going down through there. You got every now and then someone out in the second lane, but for the most part, they're very comfortable where they're at in this race.
So that was the mark at 2 laps in and 6 to go here. Everybody just kind of asserting themselves, making sure that they're able to run their race. And again, very tightly packed for the most part, from worst to first at this point in the race. And, of course, there will be some imposters out there, some that are just kind of sitting in. You might not hear their names until the very last few laps, if that's the way they like to race and that's their strategy. That's how they do well. Many runners will operate that way.
Well, it is Jacob Hess still out in front, Singleton in second place. Trevor Long just made a move there to go into third. Now he has dropped back to 5th place in that. And that lead group of 5 still tight and still a long way to go.
Hess out of Lewisburg. He's a senior. In the districts, I believe it was. He clocked a 9:23.86 and picks up one of the top 15 seeds here in these championships in this particular event. A couple of teammates there for Butler, working together pretty well so far. They can control a few things with the numbers that they have up in the lead. Number 50, Drew Griffin, only a sophomore. And then the senior leadership for Butler provided by number 58, C.J. Singleton. They're out of District 7. And for
Singleton.
Griffith, it was a 9:12:26 or 27 seed time for his sixth best of this grouping. Singleton, a 9:05:81 for the best seed time of this grouping.
Well, there goes Singleton right now to take the lead as they come through the halfway point at 4:37. And again, as we mentioned, this is the tough lap. This is the one you got to concentrate on.
Oh, and look at the tactics in play here, Greg. They're forming an echelon, it seems.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough to come around.
Yeah, that is a single file line coming down through there as they go around that turn. But Singleton, again, coming in as the top seed in this one. Long pulling up a couple feet behind him. And then you have Matthew O'Brien, who was fourth in cross country in Double A, out of Susquehannock there.
Here comes Rory Lieberman. You saw him pop out right at the start of the back straight there, trying to make some people pay for that big effort of his out of Danville, District 4. The 7th seeded qualifier at a 9:16.96 to get here. There he is in orange over blue for Danville.
So Singleton with about a 5-yard lead, make it a 7-yard lead over Long in second, and as we mentioned, Matthew now in third place. So they've opened it up a little bit. The single file is not as crowded as it was. And Singleton's starting to make a move here to widen that gap between him and second place.
Yeah, because I don't know if that's even a safe gap at this point. He's held that gap for a while now. He might be a little concerned that the gap is not big. And you see other guys firing it up out of the turn. Another big effort by Danville's Rory Lieberman as he looks to try to fend off number 268 trying to come around him.
And you see Brian DeCola out of Hatboro Horsham trying to make a move there as well.
I got to credit DeCola. He sees what's happening with Lieberman having some juice and really wanting to burn some jet fuel here in the middle laps. Let's see if we can get a split time here for Singleton. He's got a lot to be worried about. If only he knew what was going on behind him.
Well, he's opened up about a 25-yard lead at this stage of the game, which is pretty impressive. And he certainly went those laps where he needed to. 6:49 coming across with 2 laps to go, and then it's anybody's race for second place. I think they're letting Singleton get too far out. I don't know that they can run him down.
You know, it's almost unfair to compare anybody to Gary Martin, who is not racing this one this year. Last year, at this point, 6 laps in, 2 to go, a 6:43.617.
Oof. Of course, they went under. They went 8:54.87 in that race last year.
And that 6th lap for Martin was his second fastest of that race. His first lap was the fastest at a 1:04.5. His second fastest, a 1:06.65.
Now, the pack's still there, but a new leader coming into second place. That looks like the DeCola from Hatboro Horsham now moving into second. They're coming up on the bell lap. And again, unless it is Singleton's to win, there's no doubt about that, unless he falters here in a big way. And I don't see that happening. He's been too strong.
Oh, look at this effort. Bells are ringing. 7:55 the time with 1 lap to go. Quick shout out to the only freshman in this group, North Allegheny's Jack Bertram. And the leader is not a freshman. And he is proving himself worthy of top honors here today, as that gap that we thought was tenuous has now expanded to almost a quarter track lead. And the guy that we talked about from Danville, Rory Lieberman, he doesn't have to work so hard on this back straight, although maybe he does. Look out. He just got second place taken from him.
Yeah, that's your early leader, Jacob Hess. Feels like he went back into the pack for a while, caught his breath, and now second effort. But it's a long way to the finish line.
It sure is.
2:20 to go for those. It is going to be all C.J. Singleton. He's going to pick up the championship here in this one, but in a great race from him.
I hope he has the wherewithal to turn around and see what's coming up the road behind him. It's a rush to the finish and an extra effort by Rory Lieberman, as Singleton will take the PIAA championship for the big schools in the 3200. Oh, Lieberman might not be as short of second place. Photo finish for second. What a finish.
Well, congratulations to Singleton. He went 8:57 and some change on that one to win it. That's it. That's an impressive run, no doubt about it. Martin last year, as we mentioned, went 8:54. He's only 3 seconds behind that one. It would have been interesting to see Martin in that race with those two going at it, but Singleton did what he had to do.
And that's a National Federation of High School time.
Yes, it is.
Wow. So the honor roll has been met by our champion, Singleton. Blistering effort there in the middle laps to make it happen under incredible competition in this one.
That was a great race, too, from Singleton. And even we're going to see, really respectable times coming from the second, third, fourth, fifth runners as well. There in the mister, you see the mist falling down inside there, and those guys just happy to be finished, happy to get the places they got.
How the race was run, you can pick, I'm thinking close to 10 runners that made their way into the top, probably more than that, well more than that, making their way into the top three at different points. Singleton finally taking control of matters as he was paced by a teammate, and then decided the time was now. They formed that echelon coming out the back straight, and it was all Singleton in the front straight, and from thereafter.
Yeah, he takes a look back, like, how hard do I have to run? And then probably realizes I still have a shot at getting under 10 or getting under 9, and that's what he wanted to do.
We're going to take a break and be back with more exciting championships action live from Shippensburg University, only on PCN. Stay with us.
This year has been a road